When times are tough and hope is low, he's the hero that we know. EBT, man.
Make sure no EBT is working this month. Then I will move forward with my plan to take over the world.
Understood.
Sorry, ma'am. EBT is canceled this month.
What do you mean there's no EBT this month?
EBT man is here.
Hush, to save the day.
Thank you, EBT man, for saving me this month.
That's
That
not
was hilarious.
That's not the funniest thing we've ever come across. I'm sure that's mildly offensive, but what are you gonna do? Oh my goodness. Yeah, so we were hurting for content, but that was pretty funny. How long has the government shutdown been? Like
6 weeks,
6 weeks, 34, 36 days, something like that.
something like that.
Oh well.
I was just guessing.
That's all right. Thank your local neighborhood politician for that. Anyway, so welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Triad Podcast, where we try not to mess the podcast up. How are you today, Trevor?
I'm good. I see you still got the new list thing going.
The new lists thing.
Or no list, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, the still no list. Still no list. I ain't letting it go.
Ain't gonna let it go.
I ain't gonna let it go.
We should add to it. Be like, still no list, and you're shut down.
Yeah. Still no list. Day 107. Government shutdown. Day 37. Yeah. Things are going great. Things are going so good.
And then under that, for me, type in, where's my check?
Where's my check?
Because I haven't got my tax return check yet back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That would be a pain in the butt.
I had to get the secret pin and do all that. They wouldn't give it to me because something didn't line up because we moved. And
oh, yeah.
They wouldn't tell me exactly what wasn't lining up. So my tax guy had to send in paperwork and get an extension. I still haven't got my tax return.
You know, as long as those people aren't working, though, they can't do too much damage. So I guess there's that. Of course, who knows? I think one of the reasons they've got it all closed off, or shut down, I should say, is because they know Massey's going to demand a release of the information on Epstein, and they're trying to put that off as one reason.
Trying to let us forget about it.
Yeah, and then Schumer's trying to get all the Democrats mad enough to burn the country down. So,
well, most of us are already there.
Yeah. It's look it up, Trevor. It's really look it up. Oh man. Well, it doesn't matter. We got an interesting show tonight. Yeah, we're gonna bloviate. We're gonna bloviate a lot. You have to bear with me for my lack of sleep. But anyway, so we're gonna start out tonight with our Bible reading. We've decided that we're gonna try to do a read through of the Bible, about 30 minutes every section, and just talk about what we think the verses mean. And we're gonna
give our interpretation and perception.
Yeah, give our interpretation and perception of it. And we'll do that for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to go on to our subjects. And tonight we're talking about the Christian persecution in Nigeria, persecution of Christians in Nigeria. And that's been a very bad thing. And we got several different people on YouTube that have been talking about it that we're going to react to.
Okay.
And then we have got this situation, which I expressed my frustration, I think it was the week before last, over it, the whole Israel war in Gaza conflict thing. And I ranted to poor Cody for like half an hour. I can't remember if you were there for it or not, but I just yelled because I was mad.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, okay, so there you go.
But I was hiding in the corner of the screen, so you couldn't really tell.
There we go. That worked. Well, the subject isn't going away. Like, the internet is still just buzzing about, still talking about this whole conflict, and a lot of it's revolving around Tucker Carlson's interview with Nick Fuentes. Which, how long has that thing been up now? I feel like that thing's been up for like 2 weeks. Am I crazy? Has it been
I'm
a
not
week
sure.
or 2 weeks?
I only saw it in like glancing. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Watched it.
Yeah, given today's current news climate, it's not dying. It's not going anywhere. Like, normally people are like have moved on, but people are still angry. And so I wanted to flesh out kind of my thoughts on the different angles of it in detail.
He said flesh out.
I did.
Sorry.
I don't know what that means. I don't know why you're laughing, but yes, I did. I did say that. So I did say flesh out.
I was being vulgar. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. How dare you? We're about to read the Bible, sir. Shame.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to end the night with, what is this guy's name? Riaan Swiegelaar. He's talking... Riaan. Yes. Did I get his last name right at least, or did I butcher that?
I don't know the last name. That one's hard to say.
Well, he is a former leader in the Church of Satan, and he's now sounding the alarm about the true demonic reality of Halloween. So I guess this will be our Halloween special, since we're like 3 weeks late on it.
3 weeks.
But yeah, the last time we did a Halloween special, it was like this horrible AI video.
Hello, Calix. How's it going?
How's it going, man? It's going good over here. All things considered. So we're gonna get
sweet.
Yeah, so we're gonna get started with the Bible.
Sweet.
And yeah, I guess I will kick it up on chapter 10. And Mr. Trevor, you can tell me when you have thoughts.
It's chapter 1, verse 10, wasn't it?
Chapter 1, yes. Chapter 1, verse 10. Because...
That's where we left off.
We couldn't shut up about it. All right. Hang on a minute. I'll have my cigar. All right. Okay, and God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called he seas, and God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So, do you have any thoughts on the signs and seasons verse in chapter 1? Because a lot of people have went back and forth about, it being tied to astrology and prophecy, and like, you might go as far as to say, some people think like the whole history of the world is written in the stars.
Yeah, and would the seasons be 4 different seasons, or were there a whole bunch of different seasons, and we turned them into 4 over the time?
Or is it talking about historical seasons, like cyclical periods of human behavior? It might just be seasons.
I've never heard that point before. That's deep.
I've heard it. It's just... I know there's a whole world on all that. I just don't know a whole lot about it. So, you're into that stuff a little more than I am. So I was kind of wondering if you knew anything about it.
A little bit.
I guess not.
Not much, but a little bit.
Might be something to look up in a future date, or on a future date. So, moving on. Where were we?
Maybe when we learn the original languages.
Dude, I'll be like 57 before I get that figured out.
We got Greek, Aramaic. What else? Hebrew.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
World? I have completely lost my place. I'm an idiot. Okay.
Yeah, you scroll down a little bit, go up.
I did. I went too far, didn't I?
Yeah.
Here we go. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so. So that's 15. We just finished 14. Verse 16. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also.
So the greater light is the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And the lesser light, is that actually the moon?
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is I wonder why you've got lights in the firmament, and then he made the stars also.
The stars as well. Well, the stars are just all little tiny gas balls. So
Yeah.
he made lights in the sky, and then he made stars separate from the lights in the sky.
That's kind of how it reads. Like, that's interesting. We need a Bible scholar here, because you got lights 3 times.
Yeah.
You got, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And so, I mean, you would assume that to be stars. And then you've got let them be 4 lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. So I'm assuming that's also referring to the stars. Stars are going to shine down on the earth. And then you have the greater light and lesser light, but then and then he made the stars also.
Yeah.
So I just wonder
That's
what that's
crazy. So wait, how many times does it say lights right there altogether? So
about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then stars.
So there's 5, actually, there should be 5 lights up in the sky besides the sun and moon.
I don't think so, because I think 15 is extrapolating on what 14 is talking about.
Okay.
Then,
So would the North Star be one of those lights?
yes. What's got me hung up is that 16, the clause, he made the stars also. That just seems like a very interesting thing to add there.
Yeah.
And it does kind of imply that the lights and the stars are different, but they're not. So
I wonder if all the stars were probably like planets, and then he made all the gas giants after.
maybe.
And they're 2 separate lights.
I wonder if maybe it's just there to kind of make sure that, that the greater light and the lesser light aren't, like, it's just to make sure that they're not conflated, like the sun and the moon aren't conflated with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. That's something to look up. If anybody knows why you've got lights and stars being distinguished here in chapter 1,
Let us know what you
I would
think.
be interested what your thoughts are, because I'm a little. I'll have to
Let
look
us
that up at some
know
point.
in the comments below.
Yeah, subscribe, like, share, and all those other plugs. Okay, moving on.
Oh, we wanted to plug your book later. Don't forget that.
Oh, thank you. Yes, because I forgot it for like 3 weeks in a row. So okay, because I'm not doing that like I should. Anyway,
He's not sleeping proper.
no, I'm not. Anyway, and God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. So you've got this repetitious element here. That's one of the things that makes Genesis 1 really hard, is because you've got a lot of repetition. So you're just like...
Is that why people say that it contradicts itself? Because it's confusing sometimes?
I don't think it's a contradiction, no. I think it's something about the genre. Like, it's like... I don't want to use
The Bible is its own genre because it's God's word.
Well, it's like a poem. Like, it's got a rhythm. And so I feel like some of the additions in here might be tied to, like, maybe in the original language or in the way they told stories back in the day. They had a lot of that repetitious element for a rhythm. And I wonder if that's what's going on.
Go on and get rhythm
So,
when you get the blues.
yeah, because you've got, and let them be lights in the firmament to give light upon the earth. So this is him making the command... God, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night. Yeah, so he's got one command here.
So he commanded it. So that's the command.
Yeah, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament. Let them be signs and for seasons and for days and years. So he gives the command there. And then he adds another command. And let them be lights for the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. So they're supposed to serve, those same lights are supposed to serve as signs for seasons, for days, and for years. So also to give light for the earth.
So he made them, and then he gave them purpose.
Oh, okay, I see. So I'm being stupid. So what's going on here is he's basically giving the command in 15 and 14. And then in 16 and 17, he's doing what he says he's going to do. So he's declaring what he's doing, and then he's doing it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so
And I would take that and say he also made us to be lights on the sky or on the earth too.
yeah. Okay. Okay,
That's
so
cool.
we're just not tracking as closely as we should here. So this is the command.
We're not
and-
dissecting it
Oh,
properly.
good night. Go away.
Hey, log in.
Did it really just kick me out and tell me to log in?
Oh
Bible
boy.
Gateway, you do not have a monopoly on Bibles. I don't need to put up with your crap. Like, don't even start with me. Good night. All right, well, let's get back to where we were. Thanks for that.
13, 14, 15.
Yeah, we were looking at 15 through 18. So he's declaring his intention here, and then he's actually doing it here. That's what's going on. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the dark, and God saw that it was good. Yeah, so you've got a change in verbs. He said, this is what he's saying, and then he set. And God set. Okay. Cool.
Wow. It's amazing when you go back and like dissect it instead of just read it and go, okay, I read a little bit of the Bible. I feel better.
Yeah. You have to slow down sometimes because we were getting turned around.
Yeah.
We were getting turned around thinking there was like 2 types of stars or something when we were missing
5 different lights.
Yeah,
in the
like,
sky.
there's like 5 lights. Wait, no. It's like, no, that's not what's going on. We're missing the verb. It's God said and then God set. So we need to be focusing on the verb there. Okay.
It's crazy how one word change can just, it's amazing.
Yeah, which is why all these like 37 versions of it's kind of a big deal because or however many versions there are. It's like, oh yeah, there's little differences in the NIV and the King James, but they're not that big of differences. You know, they're not doctrinally significant.
They're huge
One
differences.
word can make a huge difference in what something means.
And they're taking out entire verses in some of them.
Yep, because that Alexandrian text, great, just great.
You're an Alexandrian text.
You're an Alexandrian text.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah. All right. So,
Does that make me old?
Yes.
Sweet.
And a facsimile. Anyway. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. Okay, so yeah, said, set, he sees that it's good. So God saw, God set, God said. So that's our sequence that we're looking for. Okay, let's see if it repeats. And it was evening and the morning, and the evening and the morning were the 4th day. And so we're on to 20. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that have life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth and in the open firmament of heaven.
So this is the next command.
Yeah, so this is our next segment. So God said, and then our next verb is, he said this was going to happen, so he declares it, the creatures that have life and the fowl that fly, and then he creates those creatures. And then God created whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, so now we got an additional verb here. So he created and then he blessed. That's a distinction. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And it was evening and morning on the 5th day. So instead of saying he saw that it was good, he blesses him here. So there's that. Yeah, and then the evening and the morning were the 5th day.
It's amazing.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. So you've got a rule of 3 kind of in a repetition here that I've never seen before. He says, he does, and then he reflects in a way. Like, I guess
And then
that may not be the
and
best
then he
word,
blessed
but
them.
yeah. Whereas before, let's see, in our previous segment, he saw that it was good, but didn't really bless anything. And then he blesses the living creatures.
So he blessed the living creatures. That means that all the things in the water are blessed, and they go to heaven when they die.
I mean, you could read it that way. I don't know. I'm kind of curious what it means by blessed. I mean, I'm assuming, Because
Well,
it
I
sounds
mean-
like a command. So I'm like,
Well-
was it a good thing for this, I suppose? Or I guess I'm wondering exactly what the word blessed in this
And God
context
bless
would
them,
be. And God bless them.
saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth."
Okay, I'm gonna kill time. Kill time for me for a second. I'm going to actually look up Strong's and see what the blessed means in the concordance for Genesis 1.
Okay.
Blessed, Strong's concordance.
Do you want me to do the word of the day?
Yes, you could do word of the day. Concordance.
All right, I'm going to do the word of the day while he's looking that up. The word of the day is called disport. disport. To enjoy oneself unrestrainedly or frolic. Diversion from work or serious matters, recreation or amusement. A pastime, game, or sport. That's cool. Let's see. Example. Tourists disported on the beach until the setting sun urged them inside for dinner. The otters disported themselves in the river, playing and tumbling over one another. So it's a verb. To disport.
To disport. All right, great. So now we've got, let's say, so this is the Strong's Concordance, Genesis 1:22. We got the word bless, which is Weberek. And it's...
What was that? Aramaic?
It's Hebrew.
Oh, Hebrew. Sorry.
No, you're right. So Strong's Hebrew 1288, to bless, kneel, to kneel, to bless, to be blessed, bless oneself, to bless, to be adored. See, this is one thing I hate about a lot of this is...
It just tells you the word over and over again.
Yeah, it's just telling me the word over and over again. It's not really like enlightening anything. But to kneel might have an interesting connotation. To be adored is to have an interesting cause. To cause to kneel, to bless oneself, to praise, salute, curse. So he's giving a... If I were looking at these words and these connotations, I would say what's going on is because he has a favorable opinion of what he's made,
Yeah.
he's given them a beneficial, like a command that's beneficial for them. You know what I
Wow.
mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what is being communicated here. So, yeah, so it's like a beneficial... To bless is like a beneficial command, perhaps.
Wow.
Because to kneel would imply like kind of a submission element, and then there's to be adored. So, I mean, God obviously isn't going to kneel, but he might adore his own creation. And then you've got a praise or a salute. So just taking all that, I'm kind of sitting here thinking, yeah, I'm thinking it's got to be like some kind of like, yeah, beneficial command, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you got any thoughts on that?
No.
Questioning my own methodology here, but I think I'm right.
It sounds right.
Yeah. Okay. So, sign a definite direct object not translated in English, but generally preceding the direct accusative. So, that's for the them. Okay, so said. So, this is bless them saying to speak. Yeah, okay. All right. So, broke that down. I think we got a pretty decent understanding of that word. So, that's 22. All right, and it was evening in the morning on the 5th day. So, this is one of the, like, again, I'm not saying that the young earth creationists are wrong or anything, but, like, to me, just based on what we've read so far, and we'll see if it continues, but you've got a rule of 3 element, you know what I mean? Like, in
Yeah.
the way that this is set up.
Almost
So
like
you've
a
got-
trinity.
Yeah, right?
Too bad Cody's not here.
Yeah, right? You got said, created, and another verb, which is kind of like reflecting on what he's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's evening in the morning on the 5th day. And so it's like you've got this trisection, and it's like a narrative loop. So let's see if
Wow.
that continues. And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and the beasts of the earth after his kind, and it was so.
After his kind.
Yeah.
This is one thing Holland, it confuses people. He brought forth after their kind. So when people argue against we didn't come from all these other animals. We didn't come from monkeys. He reads this verse and it's like God made them after their own kind. And that just blows people's minds. They don't understand what that even means. Like, they will ask over and over again, what does their kind even mean? Right. What is their kind? It's like, that's their relation. That's what they are. It's their kind.
Well, it's like, how do you specifically define a kind? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Maybe that's another word we need to look up.
You can't. Oh, we could look up kind and Strong's. I'll do that here in a second. But to demonstrate the point broadly, you can't necessarily use breeding because not every kind of rabbit can breed with another rabbit. You know,
really?
You can use like physical traits. Like it's one of those weird things that's kind of frustrating because it's intuitive. Like he uses the analogy, everybody knows the difference between a dog and a wolf and a banana.
Yeah.
You know, so on the one hand, it's intuitive, but when you start getting into the particulars, it's like, okay, how do you specifically categorize that, and how do you make that categorization in line with the Bible in any particular, like, specific way? Like, what is it exactly that makes a kind, and what would be something that every rabbit has that a monkey wouldn't, and you know, it can't be something like breeding, you know, because not all rabbits can breed. So what physical traits do they all have? Maybe ears. You know, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't know. Well, I mean,
how do you identify them in a very small micro level?
Yeah, well, I think that's just different regions. Because if you put a whole bunch of different kinds of rabbits up in around Antarctica, and the furriest rabbits are the only ones that are going to survive.
Right. Well, yeah, and it's frustrating because it's like, we all recognize them as rabbits. You know? We all recognize them as rabbits, but, you know, what is it exactly that makes the rabbit beside just the whole picture?
Yeah.
And the thing is how do you... Because obviously, like, you get weird outliers. Like, a whale isn't considered a mammal. Like, it would be a fish in the Bible, you know? Just because it can breathe through air doesn't make it a mammal, you know what I mean?
Well, they don't hatch. They're born naturally. How does that say? How do they put that when they're not in an egg? What was that? I
would just say like a live birth or
live birth.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, they do live births, so that's why they're not considered.
Well, still,
fish.
It's just the point is
mammals.
Yeah, in our culture, but in the Bible, it's a fish. You know, I mean, it wasn't a guppy that swallowed Jonah. You know, but it was a great
big
fish. Yeah. So it's just the point is these categorizations are somewhat subjective, and that's I think what people are asking about when they push back on Hovind with the kind definition. But we'll look it up in the Strong's and see what the Strong's has to say.
See what kind is.
Yeah, that's what kind is. Let's see. Kind. Well, that didn't help. What are you doing to me, Smalls?
Smalls. He said Smalls.
3. You're not working with me.
Oh, no.
Internet, I need you to work. We're studying in real time here. All right.
Studying on the live stream.
Yeah. Trying not to look too stupid.
We're never stupid.
Wild animals. According to
at least we try not to be.
So this is actually translated as an entire phrase.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting. So, lamina, kind, sometimes a species, usually of animals. Groups of living organisms belonged in the same created kind, if they have descended from the same ancestral gene pool. This does not preclude new species because this represents a partitioning of the original gene pool. Information is lost or conserved, not gained. A new species could arise when a population is isolated and inbreeding occurs. By this definition, a new species is not a new kind, but a further partitioning of the existing kind. Right, so it's basically saying what we said earlier. It's rabbit.
Hello, Paul S.
says, Nick Fuentes for president.
Who is Nick Fuentes?
He's the guy we're going to talk about later tonight.
Yay. Welcome in, Paul S.
You're going to make Ben Shapiro very unhappy, Paul. So, anyway, so yeah, there we go. So that's so we're just the categorization thing is kind of subjective. And that's kind of the problem. I mean, not that I think Hovind's wrong. I just like when you're talking about categories and how to classify things, you know.
Yeah.
How exactly would you classify a rabbit? So, you know what I mean? Like,
it's a little bouncy creature.
Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, fair enough. I'm just
because I mean, honestly, off of that, we could say that a kangaroo is a really big rabbit.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And see, that's kind of the problem. It's like, how are you going to define this stuff? But I'm sure there's a way. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm sure there is. It's just it's a.
And back then, did he make the rabbits bigger, like dinosaur size? Could you imagine a rabbit that size?
It's a lot of meat.
And over time, the kangaroo stayed a big rabbit, and the rest of them got smaller.
Wouldn't surprise me if they had dragonflies that were like, what was it, 2-foot wingspan or something crazy?
Yeah. Huge dragonflies.
Yeah. Okay, so are we done with kind? Do we want to move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay. Alrighty here. We're going to go back to this. So we were on 23, cattle, creeping thing, beast of the earth after his kind, and it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let us make man in our own image. So, okay, so we've got a breaking in the pattern here. So we've got God said and God made, like what we had before. So they're distinct.
Wow.
And this is really interesting because, in a lot of the depictions of the origin, you've got God speaking it and it just happens.
Yeah.
But that's actually, there's 2 beats each time in the story. God says he's going to do it, and then he does it.
And then he blesses it.
Yeah, and then he reflects on it. But he's not going to reflect on it here. He's going to make man first. So we've got a clause that adds man into what just happened up above. You see this? So we got...
Oh,
so
okay.
it breaks a little bit, and that is to emphasize the importance of man, I'm pretty sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we got God said, God made, and then we get the same thing, but it's kind of added on the same day. So, God said, let us make man in our own image. Again, we got us, Trinity, more than one. Anyway, let us make man in our image. Our Cody, our, after our image.
Our image, or.
Yeah. Plural there. And all right, sorry, I'm being petty. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. And then God, okay, hang on, I'm getting turned around. So we got.
Don't read it backwards.
Okay, I'm just not comprehending what I'm reading because I'm tired. So let us make man, and then he's saying we have dominion. I missed the word dominion. I was on autopilot. Over fish, into the sea, and the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps along. So he's going to give man, he's going to make man to have dominion over the beast. And then so he says he's going to do that, and then he creates. So we've still got
so right then and there, man has dominion.
Yeah.
Does that mean control?
Yeah. Yeah, we have authority over the animals.
So we have authority. We can tell them what to do.
Basically, yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. And so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created he him, male and female created he them. So there is a male aspect, and I'm assuming he created him, male and female. He created them.
So did he create? Here's a question I've had before. Was off that verse. Did he create more than just Adam?
See, that's the thing, because when we get to chapter 2, if I remember correctly, we get the zoom in on Adam and Eve directly. So we've got the creation story in chapter 1, and then we've got another creation story in chapter 2.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Well, it could be one way to read it is that this is a completely separate creation event from the Garden of Eden.
Right. Wow.
Now, a lot of people don't think that. A lot of people think it's just, like they're
Adam
retelling the same event in more detail in chapter 2. Yeah. But another way to read it is this is a preceding creation event, and the creation of the Garden of Eden was completely separate from the original creation event. Which would make sense when you consider the wilderness outside of the Garden of Eden. Like there was an entire system going on outside of the Garden of Eden at the time. So, I mean, I kind of think that interpretation is a little more explanatory of chapter 2, if memory serves me correct about chapter 2.
Well, we'll get into it eventually.
Yeah, we'll get into it. So, yes, arguably, he created men and women in general in verse 27. Not just Adam and Eve. Arguably. That's one way to read it.
That blows my mind.
Yeah. So, let's see if we can finish it. All right.
Chapter 1?
Yeah, chapter 1, and then we'll move on to chapter 2 next week, because we're about out of time. So, I am completely lost. Okay, and God blessed them, so we've got blessed again, right? And so here might be something that we can look. Let me confirm. So God blessed them. So this is he blessed the living entities, you might say. But when it comes to like the inanimate stuff, it's saw that it was good instead of blessed them. You know what I mean? Like he didn't give them a command; he was just approving. Because you've got saw that it was good. Made it so. Saw that it was good. You've got saw that it was good every time. It was so, saw that it was good. It was so, saw that it was good. Yeah.
So he didn't really start blessing anything until it was a living being.
Right.
Huh.
That's interesting, I think. So, I think I'm right there. Yeah. If I'm wrong, somebody can let me know, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. It saw that it was good, but he doesn't bless anything till he gets to like the animals and the living creatures. So, there is a distinction between saw that it was good and blessed. I think it's because blessed has like a command attached to it.
Yeah.
I think. So God created man and male and female, he created them, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. So we're supposed to subdue the earth and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
So if we have dominion, what does it mean by subdue?
I have to go and conquer it, like take the land, I would say.
But if we already have dominion, wouldn't we already have it?
Yeah, we have it in the sense that he's giving us the ability to do so, I think. Like we have the intellect and the strength and the power and the smarts, like we're equipped for a purpose to subdue the earth. And then in this section he's telling us to do the thing that he's equipped us to do. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay. All right. I think that's what that's going for, I think. So,
thank you for liking the stream.
Yes, thank you.
I see all those hearts going.
Yeah. Okay, so, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, and in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. So this, he's actually telling them, I think that's saying that they're supposed to be like food. Like it's telling them to be vegetarians, I think. I might be reading that wrong. Let me read that again.
I would agree with it. Yeah, for meat, you shall be for meat. Yeah.
Yeah, like it should be as food for you, is I think what it's getting at. Yeah. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat.
So that would be one that, for the people that argue about, is it okay for wheat? It's a seed-bearing plant, right?
Yeah, it's like every plant has a
So
purpose. You could make an
you
argument
can
there.
eat it, but he didn't say smoke it.
Well, he didn't say smoke it. That's true. You know. So, I mean, yeah, who knows? It depends on how you want to get at it. Go about it. I mean, I think it's implying that everything he's made has a purpose for men, though. And it's supposed to be, all the plants and such are supposed to sustain us in some capacity.
And women, and all of humankind.
Yeah, you know, whatever your respective pronoun is. So, okay, so yeah, so they weren't eating meat at the beginning. So, okay. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so.
So yeah, it's almost like he made us vegetarians to start with.
Yeah, the plants and the men and the animals were vegetarians in the beginning. That seems to be what it's saying.
And there have been studies on lions. You know, their teeth were actually meant for grinding up plants.
Oh yeah?
That's why they're so sharp.
Where'd you hear that? What study are you referring to?
I don't remember the study. I'm sorry.
You'll have to find it, because that would be an interesting read.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good, and the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
Heck yeah.
So, yeah. So you can kind of see there's like a narrative pattern going on, which is why people kind of hesitate to lock in on the 24-hour day thing, because it's clear that evening and morning on the first day, evening and the morning on the second day, that's serving as breakers for these particular events. So it could be a literary structure device. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not necessarily a literal 24-hour period, which would lend that tends. I would think that would be the more likely proper interpretation, because sun and the moon aren't made until, what is it, day 4, day 5? So
day 3, I think.
Day 3. Yeah, we got lights and heavens to give. Okay, so this is day 3 is concluded in 13, and then the lights in the firmament come in, and the 2 great lights come in here.
So it's day 4.
Day 4. Yeah, so that was evening and the morning on the 4th day.
Wow.
So that, to me, that would suggest the days are not literally 24-hour cycles.
They're their own thing.
Yeah, well, it's a narrative device, and we don't know what the time frame actually was.
Well, and another thing is, was time even a thing before he made us?
Well, I'm sure it was, but we don't have the 24-hour cycle until 4 days into the creation.
And I guess there is another question: did humankind sleep before the cursing?
I mean, I would say they did. I'd hope they did. I like to sleep. I need sleep.
Oh, yeah, but like, if you were made perfectly in God's image to start out with, you wouldn't need sleep.
Perhaps.
Originally.
I mean, I wouldn't know enough to argue with you about it. Perhaps.
That's crazy.
So, anyway, so the point is, I'm not saying that he couldn't have done it in a literal 7-day thing. I'm just saying the text, in my opinion, tends to point in another direction. Like, the time is somewhat ambiguous, because you would have, if the emphasis of the story was going to be on the 24-hour period, then the sun and the moon would be towards the beginning. Like, we're supposed to understand that 24-hour evening, like morning night cycle as the day. Like, that would be further up. It doesn't make any sense for it to be on day 4 and day mean something other than age, like a literal 24-hour cycle. Like, day has to mean like age. in some capacity, which leaves the time frame ambiguous. You know what I'm saying? Or am I just rambling at this point?
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right.
I could be wrong. Like, if we ever get Ken Hovind on here, he can tell me why I'm wrong. So,
he'll let you know, too.
oh, yeah, I'm sure he would. So, okay, so that's chapter 1. Before we get off of here, I want to confirm that chapter 2 zooms in on the Garden of Eden, since we brought that up this time. So we got the rest and generations, and then we've got. So we'll have to talk about it in detail here because we've got this setup after day 7.
Go through day 7 real quick.
Well, no, we'll pick it up next time. I'm just trying to hone in on whether or not, like, how plausible is it that it's a separate creation story,
separate time,
or if it's like a zoomed in
picture.
Yeah, a zoomed in like type of thing, talking about from chapter 1. I don't know if I'm making any sense or not, but yeah.
Well, yeah,
Is it a separate event, or is it a zoomed in, more detailed version of the same account?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Like happening at the same time.
Well, like one was talking about it broadly, and then the other is going into more detail. You know what I'm saying? Is it that, or is it these are two separate events altogether? Did they happen at the same time, or did they happen at different times?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out the plausibility of that here. So we've got this, and these were the generations of heaven and the earth when they were created in the day that the Lord made the earth and the heavens. Now
that's kind of the beginning of it.
Separate. That would be like a marker, like this, like the story's ending here.
Yeah.
In chapter 1, even though I don't know why chapter 2 would be up here, but this seems to be the natural break for the story because you've got day 7 ending here, and then you've got a break. So I don't know why we got 2 up here.
I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe this is how they wanted to, how King James wanted to splice it up.
Well, this would be the Byzantine text that did that, or this would be like the Byzantine transmission line, from what I understand. I think the Greek transmission line, that might be better. I don't know.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think the NIV has it there too. So that's not the distinction.
I don't know.
I don't know. These are the generations that hit the earth, and they were created in the day of the Lord. Yeah, but that's like the natural story break there.
Yeah.
And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord had not caused it to rain. Every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. So it's like he planted all the stuff beforehand, and the Lord had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. So it's like he made all this and set it all up, but it hadn't manifested yet, maybe?
I don't know.
We'll look at it in more detail next time.
Yeah, we'll get into it next week.
But this section break, and we'll call it good here, but the section break I was just highlighting seems to be a natural break for what we just read. So
yeah.
I don't know. We're going to have to decide if we think it's a zoomed in version of the same account or if this is a completely separate event in chapter 2. So, all right, we'll end it there. Got any final thoughts, Trevor?
That's the final thought.
What?
That right there was the final thought.
Okay.
He rested on the 7th day.
There we go.
So, we'll get into that next week as well.
If you guys have any thoughts on this, and if you
any
think
commenters?
This is interesting, us going super slow over it, if you think this is something worth doing, let us know. Give us a little feedback. We're gonna try to go through the whole Bible like this, from what I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you, Calix. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's part 1. We're gonna move on to part 2, and we're gonna talk about the Christian persecution in Nigeria. But for now, this is the end of part 1. So if you're on the live stream, stay with us. We got another 3 parts left. If you're watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time.
See you.
Now on to part 2.
Part 2.
So, okay. So what do you know about the Christian persecution in Nigeria, Trevor? Which
Oh,
actually,
you want to open her up?
Yes, thank you. How about you open her up, please?
Welcome to Faith Fiction and Folklore, or the Try-F podcast, where we try our best not to F the podcast up. And today we're going to talk about Nigeria, right?
Mm-hmm. The Christian persecution in Nigeria.
Christian persecution in Nigeria. So I'm going to let you take it off.
Okay, so this
Gary.
We'll get through this one, Trevor, I promise. Oh, man. Okay, so this has been going on for a while, and excuse me here, I've got my boxes out of alignment, which is annoying.
Oh, no.
Hang on, wait, this isn't easy.
We're going to rebox real quick. Give us a second.
Yeah. Here we
Reboxing.
There we go. So this has been going on for a while, and I didn't know anything about it, but apparently the persecution in Nigeria has been really bad this year, and it got Trump's attention, and he sent out this tweet that's on.
What are they doing exactly?
I'm going to let What Do You Meme articulate it better than I can, because I just learned about this, but I kind of felt like we needed to talk about it because apparently it's a big deal. So, so Trump sent out this tweet. Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern, but that is the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide, something must be done. I'm asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and report back to me. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is fantastic that he did that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so apparently a lot of people have been talking about this. And so this is Mike Winger, who we've complained about quite a bit, but he was on point with this. So we'll play what he had to say.
Huge update on the Nigeria situation. 3 days ago, I made my video with Judge Saul warning about the terrorists in Nigeria and how the government's turning a blind eye to the slaughter of Christians. 2 days later, Donald Trump does what we were asking for in the video, the first thing we asked for, which is to designate Nigeria as a nation of particular concern. This is an important thing, legally speaking. It allows the gears to turn in other directions as far as in our government. Then today, we get a new announcement, and this is huge. I'm going to read it to you. This is what the president of the U.S. just said officially. He declares this to the Nigerian government. Let me read it to you. This levels things up. You'll hear the rhetoric. It's pretty intense. He says, if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country guns a-blazing to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities, Trump wrote. It goes on. He says, I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attacked our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast. Let me just say, the purpose of government is to be a terror to the wicked, and these terrorists should actually be killed. This is the moral and right thing to do. I'm not cringe to say it. As a Christian, I stand on Scripture. I stand on God's word when I say those who are mass murdering should be killed. The government should go in with guns and kill them. That's the right thing for them to do. Now, if they turn themselves in, we should take them through court and do due process and then kill them. But that's the appropriate and right thing. But this will hopefully create pressure. Let's see what happens next. I just want to update you guys because, listen, it was your actions that helped lead to this. I believe that you guys helped push the ball forward. Now, people came before us. This is not like Mike did all this. No way, right? People have been working on this stuff for years. They really have. But I think that we helped grab the momentum that they created and we moved the ball forward. We, meaning like Judge Saul and you guys, we moved the ball forward. And this is what we've got going on right now. So it's a beautiful thing. Now, if you're a Muslim and you're watching this, I would encourage you to give your life to Jesus Christ, because you're thinking Islam's taking over the world. But what's really happening is Islam is taking over your soul, and it is taking you far from God. You've been lied to and lied to and lied to. and you need to open the Bible. You know, your book says that you should trust what's in our scriptures. Go read the Quran. It says that you should be trusting it. Now you're told by some, oh, but it's been all corrupted. That's all bunk. None of it's true. We're just asking you, open your mind, read the book for yourself. Don't be afraid of what you'll find there, because you know that your fellow Muslims may turn against you. But you got to follow God no matter what the cost. Go read the Bible for yourself.
Okay, so that was Mike Winger's take on that.
Wow.
So Trump, Kalix says Trump, white hat / black hat. Yeah, sometimes he does things I agree with, playing both sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does things I agree with, and then he does things that make me so unspeakably angry.
Like,
Hence
not release the list.
Hence the still no list logo that's replaced the fiction logo. Or the faith, fiction, folklore logo. Yeah, he does this thing where he just... Yeah, he... Playing both sides is probably one of the best ways to put it.
We might have to start making shirts. Still no list.
Still no list. We're going to see what happens. This government shutdown can't last for forever. We'll see what happens when Massey puts out that demand that they actually vote on the files. So we'll see. Anyway, so that was Mike Winger's thoughts on it. Now, I thought What Do You Meme had a really good breakdown as to what's actually happening broadly. So I wanted to play that, and then I wanted to play what Glenn Beck had to say on it, because he was interviewing an author who'd written about this years prior. And so
this will help people like me understand what's going on?
Yeah, explain it. People who have actually done their homework and can explain it better than I can. So here we go.
So someone is lying.
They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria.
Tell Trump to save our life. They are Christians in Nigeria.
Who are those facing persecution in Nigeria, mainly Christians?
Absolutely not.
And even some Nigerian Christian pastors are saying that they're not being persecuted at all. And meanwhile, the Christians who say they're being persecuted just want one thing from us: to not let their martyrdom be wasted, to tell the truth about it. Okay, but how do you do that with so many mainstream outlets insisting that there's no Christian persecution going on in the first place? Well, in this video, I want to help you understand what's really happening, why it's critical that we get this one right, and why the truth may be harder to face than we think. This woman and her 7-year-old just watched her husband, her 3-year-old, and her 10-month-old be executed before they took her right hand. And tragically, she's one of the lucky ones. Since Boko Haram's insurgency began in 2009, more than 100,000...
That's sad.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty nuts. And so, yeah, this is Boko Haram is who he's talking about here. And they've been, I think they're the main culprits in this. So it's a group called Boko Haram.
1,000 Christians have been executed, and tens of thousands of churches burned or shut down. And this is why Trump stepped in. On November 1st, he designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, which is basically a warning to the Nigerian government to stop turning a blind eye.
President Trump is taking action in response to the killing of thousands of Christians in Nigeria. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of, quote, particular concern.
However, that move set off a firestorm. Suddenly, headlines everywhere claim that he was wrong and that Christians aren't being uniquely targeted at all.
Who are those facing persecution in Nigeria, mainly Christians?
Absolutely not. The answer is a flat no. All the data reveals is that there is no Christian genocide going on in Nigeria, and this narrative is a dangerous, far-right narrative that has been simmering for a long time that President Trump is amplifying today.
Okay, so who's right? Well, Trump's claim is technically correct, but not complete. And understanding that difference changes the way that we see this entire persecution. Now, before we look to what these major outlets are saying, I wanted to hear from someone who's actually been there, someone who spent years working directly with the persecuted Christians in Nigeria. And that led me to Riaan Brown, who's the CEO of Open Doors, which is one of the largest organizations tracking persecution worldwide.
There has been a lot of talk here recently, and even some of this being pushed forward by the Nigerian government, trying to say that the violence is not religiously motivated, that is not a factor. It is a complicated situation there. Nobody doubts that. Nobody debates that. There are multiple things that come into play. But one of the things that is certain is that motivation to harm and to to kill Christians has certainly been a driving factor in many of these actions that we're seeing.
Now, he's right. This is complicated, but not in the ways that you might think. The explanation that most Western media latch onto is what's called the farmer-herder conflict. The basic claim is that climate change and resource scarcity have driven herders south into farmland, causing clashes over land and water.
In central Nigeria, majority Muslim herders have repeatedly clashed with majority Christian farmers, and the conflict is frequently portrayed as inter-religious, but generally stems from competition over land access.
Okay, now that's true, but it's not really the whole truth, because when you look closer, the pattern doesn't fit resource conflict nearly as well as it fits targeted persecution. I mean, you have militants shouting Allah.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, they're not chopping people's hands off because of a land conflict. Like, that's to scare the snot out of everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even
which is what they typically do.
Yeah. Well, even just that, you know, they fought over less than just land. They fought over less before than just land. We as human beings.
Yeah, of course, generally speaking, whenever they start screaming about climate change or some sort of climate thing, it's usually that's generally a Fed tell. So it's like, anyway. There's too much malice for it to just be a land conflict, in my opinion. I think there's, So Calix says it's always about resources. I mean, it certainly is that in South Africa with the Boers. Like, that's definitely what it's about in that situation. Boko Haram, and they've been kind of a group that's been around for years, and I think they're one of those, like, religiously motivated groups. So, yes, ultimately, I think it's like, we've talked about this before, but there are the people that are funding the whole thing and pushing the whole thing, and then for them, it's the resources. Like with the Houthis? You know, that terrorist group that's been bombing the trading ports in Iran.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, well, if it was a strictly just religious thing for them, like Iran would be dogpiling on Israel, but it's terrorism in that situation up there is an economic tool. You know what I mean?
They're just terrorizing.
Well, they're trying to maintain their power base. Like, remember, we talked about whenever I was in Seattle, every time, this happened twice when I was up in Seattle. They had a new apartment complex go up, and it immediately burned down. And then they blame economic terrorists. It wasn't economic terrorists. They were trying to control the property values. And so some CEO was like clearly paying somebody to burn down the apartment complex. And at least that was my interpretation of events. And people kind of just, didn't say anything,
That's kind of like a larger scale fraud almost.
Yeah, it is fraud. It's a controlling of the prices. But where it gets muddy is it's like, did they actually hire a guy who was like a environmental wacko type person? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the guys on the ground, they're religious. You know what I mean? The guys funding and doing the coordinating, it's resources. That would be what's going on. So like the malice here, huh?
And then when you zoom in, it looks like it's more religious than resources.
The contempt and the like the malice, like what I was saying, is kind of the tell that it's like a religious thing. But these guys, in my opinion, they're not exactly functional enough to organize on their own.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have your Machiavellian that's concerned about resources, that's controlling the grunts on the ground that are mainly motivated by the religious stuff.
Right.
That would be my assessment of the situation. So it is, like, it's religious persecution for the grunts, I guess you would say. But there are, and this is something, I wasn't going to play this because I was just wanting to focus on that author. But in the video of Glenn Beck that we're going to play after this, he talks about the big countries that are actually funding these guys.
Oh.
So yeah, so there's people pouring money into these situations, and then
so they can get money back on their interest.
Yeah, well, there's some kind of resource-oriented, like, economic thing that they're concerned about, and he alludes to that in that video that we're going to show here in a few minutes. But you know, for the guys on the ground, it's like a religious deal. So
wow,
yeah, resources and something else. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to put it. So thank you, Calix. We're gonna. Do we want to go on with this, or do we want to switch over to Beck? Because I don't want to take his entire thing.
Let's go and switch over to Beck and see what he has to say.
All right. So that's Mike Winger's interpretation of it, and then we have Beck here. So this is Beck's interview with an author.
Wait, I thought you didn't like Beck.
I didn't like him last. Like,
he's another one of those guys that's like black and white and this and that.
The people I love the most are the people I complain about the most because I watch them the most.
I got you. Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And disagree to disagree, and then agree to agree.
My philosophy on it is you cheer the people on when you think they're doing the right thing, and you push back when you think they're doing the wrong thing. So, thank you, Calix. Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, you know, you say good job when you agree, and then you push back when you disagree. That's kind of my philosophy. So it's not that I don't like Beck. I just got really mad at his whole "let's all just get along" shtick a few weeks back. So
let's all just get along.
Yeah. So all right,
here's a song on that one.
Yeah. So here's his interview with that author.
Well, we've heard what Al Jazeera has said about Nigeria. You've no doubt heard similar from our mainstream media. But what do actual experts say is going on over there? You know, people who have been there a lot. Johnny Moore is the author of a new book of Christian martyrs. He serves as the president of the Congress of Christian Leaders and is the managing director for Middle East Studies at Pepperdine University in Washington, D.C. He also wrote the book, is that the name of it? The Coming Caliphate? I know we talked about this at the time, Johnny. What was the name of your book 5 years ago?
It was called, Glenn, The Next Jihad. The next jihad.
That's right. The next jihad.
But it's now the now jihad.
Yeah. And nobody bought that book because nobody cared at the time. Nobody cared. But you laid it out at that time. And you say there are places in Nigeria that are so horrific that Christians this cannot be true, hunted for sport.
Actually, it's not just Christians being hunted for sport in Nigeria. It's the whole region now, Glenn. I mean, literally, if you are a jihadist, if you're an extremist, and you sadistically want to find a Christian to kill, like the place you go in this time is to the Sahel in Africa. And it's not just that they go like randomly kill people here and there. They go to entire villages. They kill people in the most grotesque ways as possible. Glenn, I keep a few names with me. One of them is a family. They had 3 kids. The names were Patience, Revelation, and Rejoice. 13, 6, and 4 years old. And these jihadists came in, they mowed down the entire village, they killed this family. On that same day, they killed 20 other people in that village. One was a 3-month-old child they shot in the head. The other one was a 6-year-old that they hacked to death. They killed a 14-year-old little girl. Her name was Blessing. I mean, it's just insane. And it's not just a few people or a few dozen people, Glenn. It is entire villages. It's tens of thousands of people. It is a piecemeal terrorist caliphate that hunts Christians for sport. There's no other way to describe it.
I've been excited to receive this for
Hey, look, an ad.
The book, The Ultimate Guide
They're
to
adding.
Building a Civilization, is full of
So people say this is not happening, Johnny. It's just not happening.
Actually, it's worse. They say not only is it not happening, but they say the reason why it's happening is things like, no, they're not hunting Christians. It's just like the climate is changing. I mean, this is like literally the answer that certain people give. But I mean, they go into these villages, they chant, Islamist phrases. They literally hunt down the Christians and they kill them. I mean, in some parts of the world, at least they give them the chance to convert. Not in this part of the world. They don't even give them the chance to convert. They just like kill all of them. And there's this line in Africa where it's like Muslim north of the line and it's Christian south of the line. And of course, I support religious freedom for everyone. Everybody knows that about me. But what's very, very clear is what's happening here is Islamic jihadists are trying to kill Christians in order to Islamize the rest of Christian Africa, and it's being funded by all kinds of foreign countries. It's a terrible, terrible situation. We got one country in Western Africa, I guarantee hardly anybody knows this, that's like this close, Mali, to being taken over entirely, basically by ISIS, a whole country run by ISIS. It's like as soon as you look one way, it's like these terrorists go and find another place. But it's not like we can say that we didn't know about this one. For 10 years, Glenn, this has been the most dangerous place in the world to be a Christian. And hopefully, finally, the world will pay attention and people will stop dying. But I got to tell you, I think about the tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 people that have already just been killed, like quickly, like shot, like they massacre these people. They torture them before they kill them.
7,000 people since Trump has been in office. 7,000 people since Trump has been in office. And as you say, they're torturing them. They're killing them. This isn't a war. This is, you would say, maybe sport. But this is that's these jihadists coming in. They're not at war. They're not at war.
Have you seen one protest, Glenn? Like literally one. Like 5 people on some street corner somewhere in a community where maybe there's some Nigerians or some people that really, really care about persecuted Christians. Like none. 0. These people suffer in the shadows. And I think one of the powerful and important things about President Trump saying what he said this weekend, like declaring it a country of particular concern and taking the bully pulpit of the White House and saying like enough is enough, is that hopefully people will start caring. But we have to care for Christians. Like, I mean, these are our brothers and sisters in Christ. The body, the word says that if one member of the body suffers, everyone suffers. But even if you're not a Christian, like you can't turn your eye to this grotesque brutality.
Johnny, you've known me for a long time, and I go where I have to go. And I'm really struggling right now because I feel like I should be going to Nigeria to bring the story because it's important. And everybody on my team was like, Glenn, you can't go. And I'm like, I'm going. This week, I have been told in no uncertain terms, by the highest levels of people who know in our government, do not go. It is the most dangerous place on earth. How do we get people to pay attention to this if you can't get anybody from the media to go and actually cover it because it's the most dangerous place on earth?
Well, I'll tell you.
And that's kind of an issue. Like, that's why it took so long to figure out what was going on in South Africa, because nobody would go down there for
and
forever.
If they did,
like Lawrence
they'd
Southern was one of the first. Yeah. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's...
That's scary.
There's the religious component. And before this interview, he breaks down the money. Like the Muslim countries that are funding this. And he also ties it in that similar things are going on in other countries, and they have gold and resources and stuff tied to those countries as well. So there's economics at play, but they're using the religion as a pretense.
Wow.
And it's they're feeding into that tribalism. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like we're gonna go take out these dirty Christians or whatever, and really what they're doing is just serving the whims of some nefarious government in Saudi, like I don't know, Qatar or something.
And that really it would
not them specifically. I'm just throwing them out as a hypothetical.
Yeah, it sucks too because you got anybody who's not religious just hanging out on the street corners doing whatever, and they're in the crossfire.
Mm-hmm.
So you lose more than just Christians and Muslims and whatnot.
Yeah,
you lose innocent bystanders who just are there.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong place, wrong time.
And this is one thing Beck said that frustrated me. Of course, it goes in line with what we talked about last time. He was kind of a little in that interview with the author. He was seemed to be a little upset that Trump had threatened to use the military. But I'm kind of with Mike Winger on it. I'm like,
no. Let's take them out.
Yeah, well, that's when you use the military is when a bunch of people die. Like when 7,000 people die in a year.
Yeah.
When are you not supposed to? If a government's not protecting its own citizenry, it's like.
When do we step
What
in?
good is being number one in the nation if you're not going to use the bully pulpit to stop something like that?
Yeah.
You know? And plus, if the ethics of it isn't compelling, like, who knows why those other countries are funding that? And who knows why the Nigerian government is complicit? You know what I mean? Because they're scared of somebody, and I don't know if they're just scared of Boko Haram. They might be scared of the guys funding them. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I'm
plus,
guessing.
that,
I don't know, but there's a whole bunch. My point is, there's a whole bunch of politics going on behind the scenes.
Well, that's where you got to be careful because
international relations stuff.
Yeah, if you send in too much, and do something about it, other places could see that as like an act of war. And then you got World War III on your hands.
They should see it as an act of war, and they should be scared because the solution is very simple. Stop letting people kill to thousands of individuals en masse. I mean, it's not like you're fighting over whatever. You
just
gotta,
trying to defend the defenseless.
It's like all you got to do to stop the war is nothing. So, like, enforce your laws and go on as business as usual, but somebody's paying people to look the other way. Somebody's funding the army. Like, it's not just
corrupt.
Like, even if it was just like random slaughter, like that should still concern us. But it's not just that. There's money being exchanged.
Yeah,
so,
it always goes back to greed.
At least that's my opinion on it. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's just the puppet masters, the Machiavellian's perspective. It's always just about the greed. Like, the people on the ground, they get riled up, you know. Like, we've seen hints of the government trying to stir the pot before, even on this show. Remember Starbucks Antichrist? I'm sorry, I swear that was a CIA op.
Yeah,
the guy sounded Californian, for crying out loud, but they were sitting there screaming that he was like the Muad'Dib or whatever. And I'm like, no. Oh, yeah, remember we talked about it. Like, they were saying, this is the Antichrist. He's going to take over all of, like, the Middle East. And he sees some bearded guy in a beanie going, yeah, I don't even remember what he said. But, yeah, he was, like, making all these little Quran chants and stuff, and he sounds like a Valley guy, you know?
It's kind of like, the guy in Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr.?
They were using, like, an actor to be the... an actual actor to be the.
That's right. Ben
guy.
Kingsley was. What was his name? What was his name? I'm so mad I'm forgetting that. But you're right. Yeah, it's Ben Kingsley. He was playing the part of this terrorist.
And then
but
when
he
found
wasn't.
him,
he was just an actor.
He was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here reading my lines.
That's exactly what was going on. Like, I'm telling you, that Starbucks dude, that was exactly what was going on. That was not a chapel. That was a set. You know?
A whole set.
That was a set.
Yeah.
But that's how they get people on the ground riled up. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, anyway, the bottom line, though, is I'm glad Trump's doing something about it, and I kind of felt like we needed to talk about it and not just ignore it, because it's a horrible situation, regardless of how it's coming about. Like, that's just awful. So I felt like we needed to say something. So,
yeah.
You have any final thoughts, sir?
No.
All right.
Jesus said, they will be, if you follow me, you will be persecuted.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. All right, well, we're going to move on to part 3. Are you ready?
Thank you for watching part 2. We're going to move on to part 3. So.
We will see you next time.
See you next time.
And I guess I'll lead us in for this one since you let us in.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. All right, so welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Triad Podcast, where we try not to mess the podcast up. And today, on part 3 of this live stream, we have got the conflict between Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, and Nick Fuentes.
Oh, so, goody.
How familiar,
the Manosphere.
Yeah, the Manosphere. So how familiar are you with this?
I saw a video about it in glancing, but I did not watch it. So
yeah, so sorry, excuse me, I didn't mean to pull that up. I was hoping to not use Google Chrome, and then I did it anyway. So if there's a lag, give me a minute, and I'm going to try.
If there's a lag, thank you, Google.
Yeah, thanks, Google. Okay, yeah, let me just close that. So when did that interview with Tucker Carlson happen? It was like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and it's still in the news, and everybody's still arguing about it, which in this news cycle is just like, good night. It's like it's been going on for 2 years compared to how fast everything's been moving. So they're still arguing about whether or not they should be platforming Nick Fuentes. And so I wanted to give my 2 cents on it since everybody else has been commenting. I guess I'm joining the bandwagon. But I did a rant I did a rant about the situation on poor Cody. Like, I just kind of vomited on him a couple weeks ago. And this is just kind of a situation of that. Yeah. So
there we go.
All right, here we go.
Let's get into it.
Let's see. I want to start out with introducing who Nick Fuentes is, and I think this is something somebody posted that he was doing on Twitter, and we'll just play this for a minute, and I'll kind of give my reaction to it. So,
okay.
But I think you'll know what's going on pretty much as soon as you hear it.
Dude, just like watch this. This is so awesome. I got red pilled watching stuff like this when I was 18. This is where it's at. Women hate this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, hang on. I'm trying to get this thing to actually enlarge, but it's not.
Oh, like full screen?
Yeah, so people
double click on it.
Women will never understand this.
Oh.
And women will never understand this.
This is a big screen.
I didn't do that this time.
Women will never understand this. Okay? They will never understand this.
In diesen Ländern regiert tatsächlich das Kapital. Wir reden von der Freiheit der Presse. In Wirklichkeit hat jede dieser Zeitungen einen Herrn. Und dieser Herr ist in jedem Fall der Geldgeber. Diese Presse moduliert nun die natürliche Meinung. Diese Parteien unterscheiden sich so wenig voneinander, als sie sich früher bei uns voneinander unterschieden haben. Sie kennen sie ja, die alten Parteien. Das ist immer eines und dasselbe. Der Völkerstreit oder Hass untereinander, der wird gepflegt von ganz bestimmten Interessenten. Es ist eine kleine, wurzellose, internationale Clique, die die Völker gegeneinander hetzt, die nicht will, dass sie zur Ruhe kommen. Es sind die einzigen, die wirklich als internationale Elemente anzusprechen sind, weil sie überall...
Okay, so he's basically...
So was that propaganda saying that Trump was Hitler? One of those things?
No, it's just some video trying to put Interstellar speed. There's like this fad on the internet where you put the soundtrack to Interstellar on the back of a speech or something, and all of a sudden the speech becomes magically profound. So some guy did that to one of Hitler's speeches and then put all this like anti-Jewish iconography on their video.
Okay.
So they were trying to make it sound like Hitler was speaking some profound truth, and he's laughing about it.
So it is propaganda.
In a man, I guess, but it's trolling, really.
Gotcha.
And like you can tell the way he's laughing, and he keeps like reframing it about it like it being a distinction between men and women. Like he says stuff like that, but he kind of trolls, like he pokes at people to try to get a rise. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so that's Nick Fuentes.
Yes, that's Nick Fuentes
reacting.
Okay. Did I not set that up proper? I thought I'd set that up.
You might have, and I missed it.
Okay, well, apologies if I didn't set this up. No, I was just trying to give you a flavor for the kind of stuff that Nick Fuentes says. He's basically he's like a rage bait kind of guy. He says outrageous stuff. Like he says he's a big fan of Stalin, for example. He made that claim in Tucker Carlson's interview. In my opinion, I don't think he actually is. I think this is one of those things where he just kind of tries to get under people's skin. And there's a trolling element of it, and it's hard to say how much he actually believes. But I do think there's a danger in that you can start out trolling and then gradually over time come to believe your own outlandish stuff.
And this is why you got to be careful saying stuff on the internet, because people clip tiny bits and do their thing.
Well, he kind of markets and saying stuff like that and getting people mad. So that's kind of his deal. I don't know how much of it, because I haven't watched him enough to know how much he actually thinks this stuff is true. I'm just looking at this, seeing him laughing, seeing him look at kind of the absurd imagery in that video, and I'm like, this kid's just trying to get under people's skin. Like, this is a gimmick.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't somebody who's like, he's not a Richard Spencer who's going to go out there and lead a Charlottesville or some such thing. Like, this is a kid who's just poking at people.
He's more like me. He'll poke at you just to poke at you.
Yeah, but you've never liked Hitler.
No.
You said you liked Hitler, so...
No, I'm not a fan of Hitler.
But there's a trolling element to it. And, I mean, who knows what he actually thinks and where the trolling ends and the sincerity begins and all that. I don't know. I haven't watched him enough to know. But there's some points I want to make about this. That I
I'm
think
sorry
are
to
very
interrupt you.
No,
Get to your points.
I'm just talking in your ear. You haven't interrupted me.
Oh.
Not at all. So, okay, so there's that. Now, I wanted to come back here and listen. I wanted to play Ben Shapiro's interview with Megyn Kelly here. And so we've done that. And then I wanted to show Nick Fuentes' side of the story, kind of after I'd shown what Ben Shapiro had to say. So let's start here.
A right wing that embraces its own fringes will end up in the same position as a left wing that has embraced its
so that's
fringes.
why I want to get into it. Embraces.
Yes.
So now, having spoken to Tucker, I actually see that interview very differently.
Okay, so I probably need to key this up first, too, because I'm an idiot and I'm not doing this right.
You're not an idiot.
Well, basically, so Nick Fuentes is kind of this trolling figure, and Tucker Carlson has him on his show, does an interview with him, gives him a favorable interview. Now, if you'll recall, I was absolutely livid with Tucker because he basically did this hit job on Ted Cruz. And so now him and Ted Cruz are mad at each other and are saying hateful things at each other. But it was with that interview. You know, Tucker Carlson was pretty... I thought he did some things that were pretty slimy in that interview. And then he turns around and interviews Nick Fuentes. And he asks questions and he pushes back. It's not like it was like a fluff piece necessarily. But he didn't pull the same crap he pulled on Ted Cruz. And so in that respect, it was a friendly interview. In that it was like meaning it's what an interview should have been. He sat there and asked questions and did his job instead of did the gutter sniping thing and attributing motive crap and all that stuff he did of Cruz. But anyway, he had him on the show. And so now everybody's mad at Tucker because he had Nick Fuentes on his show. And Ben Shapiro and Megyn Kelly are talking about that. So is that clear? Okay. Am I keying this up enough?
My brain is now clear.
Great. So we're going to
because Red Bull gives you wings.
There you go. Okay.
No, they do not support us.
I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to turn my camera off for a minute so I can get something to drink. So
copy that.
Because I'm getting dry mouth. All right.
And I did listen to the interview, and I knew what Nick Fuentes was. And I think he did show himself to be who he is. It wasn't his most vile stuff, but you got the feel for what this guy was. But I really think Tucker was talking to him, Ben, to put like a bumper on this guy. Because what Tucker was urging him the whole time was to understand that collective punishment for any one group of people is wrong. It's deeply immoral, and it's anti-Christian, which this guy is supposed to be. And reminding him of how deeply immoral that is, that you should not be looking at a group of people, whomever it is. The left does it to everyone, whites mostly, but like this collective shame, white men in particular. And there's a group of people like Nick Fuentes that does it to groups of Jews. And he was making the case throughout the whole interview in the way that Tucker does. He's not like you or me. He's not like pointed and cross-examining.
That is not true.
And was making...
That is fundamentally untrue.
No,
Ask Senator Ted Cruz whether that is true.
He gave it to Ted Cruz because Ted Cruz is a politician.
That's hold up. So only politicians get cross-examined?
You don't. Well, look,
Truly?
it depends on the person.
Tucker would never cross-examine a person who is not a politician. That's his rule.
Tucker has excoriated public figures who purport to speak for us and represent us for many years. Nick Fuentes is a podcaster civilian.
Okay, I just have a question. We all in our industry are constantly excoriating people who are in our industry. It happens all the time, every single day.
Okay.
Again,
but we're talking about his interviews.
We can agree to disagree on your interpretation of what Tucker was doing there. I think everybody should watch and determine for themselves what they think Tucker was doing in that interview, and I urge you to watch it back to back with the Ted Cruz interview to determine whether you think that was an aggressive Tucker Carlson interview, and you can judge for
I
yourself.
didn't say it was aggressive.
My opinion.
I didn't say it was aggressive, and I don't think he would say it was aggressive.
And I think
his point was, this guy, first of all, he's become a behemoth, sadly. He's got 5 million viewers on Rumble. He's got 1 million followers on X.
I agree.
This is all before Tucker Carlson. And he was platformed, I hate that verb, but he was
Calix says, ha!
Platformed by Patrick Bet David. And he went on Dave Smith's show, and he went on another big show. He's been getting more and more purchase in the political ecosphere, including right wing.
And I think that's
Patrick
bad.
Bet David has a huge show. I know, but
Patrick
did you
Bet-David
know
did
that
more-
Patrick Bet
Pat-
David had him on?
Patrick
Did his
Bet-David-
life blow up?
Patrick Bet David did a significantly more aggressive interview with Nick Fuentes than Tucker did.
Okay, but my point is simply he's growing. He's growing in stature. And so what I saw Tucker do was not whitewash his ideas, but try to put bumpers up on the guy.
Well, then
I know Tucker well, and I think that was his approach.
Yeah,
and
sorry.
the way, if you want to put a bumper.
Yeah.
What does excoriated mean?
Excoriated. Well, I'm feeling stupid. Hang on.
Because they
it's
both
like
said
rip
it.
the person
and-
up verbally is what I think it means, but we'll double check
Okay.
real quick.
Because they both said it, and I was like, "What does excoriated mean?" And now I'm lost because I couldn't figure out what that means.
Criticize severely. Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just verbally criticizing somebody. That's all.
I see.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Calix says right. So yeah, it's just criticize people verbally. So okay, I'm gonna let them go back and forth for a minute. Then I'm gonna kind of give my opinion, and then we're gonna circle back to Nick Fuentes' account about what happened between him and Ben Shapiro. So
Okay.
we'll do that.
Up on Nick Fuentes, is it helpful to say you're fucking vile, you're an anti-Semite?
Yes.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it
that
is.
doesn't put a.
Yes, it
no,
is.
it isn't. That makes
Yes,
the
it
audience feel good because you have hand-to-hand combat, but it doesn't help change that guy's view or his extremeness at all.
Okay, I'll tell you what doesn't change Nick Fuentes' view. Tucker Carlson with his arm around Nick Fuentes, grinning for the camera, while Nick Fuentes tweets out America first, and then triumphantly goes on the air the next day to explain that he has essentially used Tucker Carlson as a vehicle for manipulating other people. Okay, that's what Nick Fuentes is saying, not me, Nick Fuentes. Okay, and Nick Fuentes, and by the way, I will again say that Tucker Carlson, when you say to somebody in an interview, do you condemn anti-Semitism? And then the person says, sure, which is what Nick Fuentes said. He said, I'm not an anti-Semite, which is blatantly untrue.
Yeah.
A responsible journalist would then follow up, demonstrating that that is false. Tucker did not do that. He allowed him to get away with that, and then he allowed him to talk about, quote-unquote, organized Jewry, followed by Nick Fuentes being...
She's been using the F word a lot, Calix, ever since she got off of Fox News. It's like she's been liberated. No.
She has been set free from...
That's the beauty of podcasting. We can cuss now. So,
Yeah. Say what we want.
Yeah.
Treated to a disquisition by Tucker Carlson about why Christian Zionists of all human beings on earth are the people that he hates the most.
He took that back.
You can't take that back. How do you take that back?
He did.
How?
Because he
Then
spoke
he
to...
should
No.
explain why it was wrong. He should explain why Christian Zionists are actually wonderful people.
Tucker is very quick to self-flagellate, and he went on with Dave Smith the next day, the
Self-flagellate.
next week, whatever, Monday, Tuesday this week, and said, that was stupid. I didn't mean that. He said, I'm angry at people like Lindsey Graham. I'm angry at people like Ted Cruz because he thinks they run headfirst in these conflicts and they don't think about what's going to happen to American
wait,
kids.
hold up. If we're talking about firing inside...
Okay, all right, I think that'll pause there.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad to hear he took it back. I hadn't heard that because I'd heard the whole I hate Christian Zionists. He also said, oh, it's like the worst heresy. And I'm like,
What's the worst heresy?
like Christian Zionism, like believing that
I
the
see.
Jewish people, have a right to that land.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the worst one. What? There's a lot of heresies out there. Like that's the worst one. But anyway. So anyway, he said he really didn't like Christian Zionists. I'm glad to hear he took that back. But that's not my point. I'm digressing. So Ben Shapiro has said on multiple occasions, and he kind of has this worldview that he doesn't think people like Nick Fuentes should have a platform or be allowed on these interviews.
Like the big wig interviews.
Yeah, and I disagree. Like I don't agree with Nick Fuentes, and if if he actually believes the stuff he says, which I've already communicated. I'm not 100% sure. A lot of this is trolling, but I don't agree with it, assuming it's true. But if you're going to be for freedom of speech, you got to be freedom for speech. And I don't care what you call it, whether it's ostracizing, whether it's denying people platforms. It's cancel culture.
Yeah.
Like, you can have 37 different labels for it, and you can change the label every time you get called out. But if you don't let people talk and you try to isolate them in the corner, you're a dad blame commie. You're a commie. And if you had the same kind of power the liberals have, you would act like a liberal. And the only reason you don't is because you don't have the power. It's because you can't. But you would be what you hate if you could, if that's going to be your philosophy. So I don't agree with denying the guy a platform. And there's a point that Nick Fuentes makes whenever he talks about what happened at the Daily Wire. So we're going to hear, because basically Ben and the Daily Wire have tried to put him in the corner, put him in like the naughty room or whatever, and not let not let him play with the big kids. But the thing about Nick Fuentes is he has grown very large on his own. And so despite guys like Ben Shapiro's efforts to isolate him, he's still grown.
Wow.
There's an object lesson here, boys and girls. But anyway, we're going to hear Nick Fuentes' side of the story.
Let's hear it.
Okay. If I can find it. Here we go. Apologies for everything being so blasted small. I keep double-clicking and it's not going on the whole thing.
What about the little arrows?
Let's try that. Is that going to make it... see. You're killing me, Smalls.
Ouch, brain.
Okay, here we go. Let's hear what he has to say.
I've never seen anything on the Daily Wire that's actually critical of Israel. And he quote tweets me. And at this time, I have 1,000 followers on Twitter.
How old are you?
I'm 18. I'm a freshman.
Still a freshman in college, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is even before I started my show. And I don't know, I probably got 100 likes on this tweet. It wasn't a viral tweet. He quote tweets me and says, "To accuse a Jew of dual loyalty is the surest sign of anti-Semitism." And like, this is how it sort of begins. And I see this tweet. And by the way, that was on Christmas Eve in 2016.
He immediately called you an anti-Semite.
Mm-hmm. So I'm
is this
driving to Christmas Eve Mass with my family. And I see on Twitter, the notification comes up, Ben Shapiro quote tweets me, calling me an anti-Semite. And I was like, what is this? Like, why is this guy attacking me? You know, because I don't have a platform at this time. I'm not an influential guy or anything. And so then I put out another tweet similar. I said something like, if you're China first, you should live in China. If you're Mexico first, you should live in Mexico. If you're Israel first, maybe you should go live in Israel. And again, he quote tweets me and says, "You're an anti-Semite."
That same night?
This was, I think, a couple weeks later. Happened a little bit further down the line. And so...
Were you surprised that he knew you were?
Yeah, I was. I was surprised at why he cared.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, how does he even know who I am or what I'm about? And it turned out that Cassie Dillon, she had texted him earlier and she wanted him to take me under his wing. She texted him after that debate and said, you know, you really like this guy. He's amazing. He did this great debate. She goes, but he's a little too pro-Trump. He's a little too Trumpy. And he goes, I'll take a look. And so I guess the two of them were kind of like grooming me in a sense. They wanted me to go maybe and be a Daily Wire or maybe looking me as a potential conservative activist or influencer. And so they started paying attention to me, and the more critical of Israel I was, I started to get this really intense pushback from the both of them and from a lot of the people at Daily Wire.
Why do you think, so you're an 18-year-old college freshman, you're clearly talented and you're engaged, you're really interested, and you ask not crazy questions like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And rather than explain it, they just call you a racist, call you an anti-Semite. Like, that's the first response. That seems like the least effective, well, it turned out to be not very effective in your case, but that seems like the least effective thing you could do. Why do you think they did that?
Well, I think that you have to look at it not in retrospect, because hindsight is 20/20. And so looking back, you could say they made a terrible mistake because look at sort of what they provoked or what they catalyzed. But at that time, you got to consider, I'm 18 with no...
And Kalik says, high-profile YouTubers being brought down to the same level as us now. Yeah, pretty much.
It's crazy.
Following with no network. I'm coming from the suburbs of Chicago. My parents didn't...
They're shaking in their boots. Maybe. That'd be nice. Need some new blood, I think.
Go to college. I have no connections. And so for them, it was very easy that if they detected that a promising young guy was going to become anti-Israel in the conservative movement, they could crush that person easily and grind them under the heel. So they sort of were alerted, oh, there's a precocious young guy that isn't on board with Israel. We'll keep an eye on him. And if he gets too vocal or popular, we'll cut him down. We'll crush him. Because at this time, as you know, in 2017, it's a very different time. 2016, 17, any criticism or dissent on the subject was a death sentence. You became radioactive, unhireable, blacklisted, and that's exactly what happened. And basically from then on, it was just this escalating series of blacklisting, censorship, hit pieces, rumors to try to ostracize me from the movement. And
while you're a college student?
Yes.
And now we like Stalin. And that's kind of my point. This kid who's 19, like, I wouldn't want my opinions to be posted all over the internet, and I wouldn't want to be labeled in a position at 19 years old. Would you?
Especially not at 19.
Yeah, like 18, yeah. So he's just a kid. Yeah. He's just a kid, and they're already like trying to ostracize it, because that's the point behind calling somebody like an anti-Semite like that. The reason they're doing it is to put somebody in the corner. Now, if he wasn't an anti-Semite before, he's probably going to start trolling and saying things like that just as an act of defiance, shake your fist at the stars kind of thing.
Yeah, poke the bear.
Yeah, poke the bear and say, I'm not afraid of you. But then after a while, you might end up believing it. And then after a while, you might be a fan of Stalin and cheering on weird videos with Hitler speeches running and the Interstellar soundtrack playing in the background. My point is, Ben Shapiro helped create this guy. In his attempt to deplatform him, in his attempt to ostracize him, the kid grew anyway, and now he's doubled down on these positions that Ben Shapiro thinks is repugnant.
That's scary.
Well, it shows why cancel culture doesn't work.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro helped create this kid, whether he wants to admit it or not. And now people like Megyn Kelly are going, well, you gotta let him have the debate. The only way you can teach people if they're wrong is if you talk to them.
And listen.
And figure out why they're saying what they're saying. And it's like, no, we can't give these horrible people a platform because then they'll take over the movement. I'm like, well, that's how you get a good old boys club. And then you get this subculture that eventually ends up taking over the movement anyway.
Right.
So, Kalik says, there's that one Andy Warhol quote. He says, in the future, everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes. Haha. Yeah.
Ooh, I want 15 seconds. That's fine.
Depends on how much money I can get in that 15 minutes. But anyway, so...
Are you all about the greedy money, Gary?
Yeah, I'm all about the money. Some Fed pay me so I could buy a house. No. Anyway.
I just want my tax return check. That's plenty for me.
Yeah, hopefully, get your tax return check. So, anyway, I just wanted to mention that because I thought it was an object lesson in why cancel culture doesn't work.
Right.
And now you've got this kid who may or may not believe this crazy stuff, but he's saying it. And the people who follow him, at some point, they might forget that he's trolling. And then they'll end up, believing it. So he's created, this cancel culture thing created the very thing they're trying to destroy, made it stronger. I mean, we've known this for forever. It's the same principle as why, persecution of Christians in China has never worked. The Chinese church is huge and always has been because people... they shake their fists at the stars and defy authority when it's that blatant. You start building these good old boys clubs, people fight you.
Yep.
So I just wanted to point that out. And that is all I had to say about that. Do you have any thoughts, good sir?
No, I mean, honestly, it comes with free speech.
Yeah.
If you, either side of the coin, if you start trying to shut people down just because they give their opinion, you're just as or more wrong than the other person.
Mm-hmm. And again, I don't like the opinions. I don't like them, but I don't have to. Like, the point is you talk.
Yeah.
You debate.
And also, another point is one of them said, they shouldn't have him on a show. And I'm like, it's Tucker's show. He can have whoever the heck he wants on there.
But see, now they're wanting to ostracize Tucker. It's like because he interviewed Nick Fuentes, now he has to go in the naughty corner with all the other anti-Semites.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this is, which is wrong. And I'm saying this is somebody who's absolutely livid at Tucker for that abysmal Ted Cruz interview. I thought that was some of the sleaziest CNN level crap I'd ever seen. So I'm not saying this is somebody who's very happy with Tucker, but you don't put people in the naughty corner ever. You let people talk, you let people have their shows, and you abandon this good old boy club crap.
And if you don't like what they have to say or their opinion, you can always click off.
Yeah, or you can be like me and scream about it for 10 minutes so you get over it the next week.
Or make a still no list.
Or make a very petulant graphic to go on the overlay. Right. So, all right. So that was all I wanted to say about that. I felt like it was important, and I felt like it was a very crucial object lesson because I think...
Yeah. Stuff like this is very important, and we should all know that's going on.
Yeah. It's infuriating that we're having to talk about this with the right because the left has been doing this to the right for forever. And instead of going, wow, we really need to avoid this on principle, they just complain about the left doing it and then try to do it to each other.
And flip the narrative.
Yeah. They just try to do the same thing. And it's like, you're not mad that it's happening on principle. You're just mad that it's happening to you and you wish you could do it to somebody else.
Yep.
It's like, it upsets me. Again, I don't agree with them, but they get to talk. That's what it means to be an American.
Yep.
And Kalix says, ha ha ha. So,
ha ha ha.
All right. So, okay, that's all I've got. We're going to move on to, I guess this would be part 4.
We got 4 parts tonight. Holy moly.
We do. We haven't done that in a while. So, okay, we got one more segment left. If you're watching this, if you're still in the live stream, stay with us. We got one more segment left. If you are watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
We will see you next time. And on to part 4. So, since you're familiar with this guy, you want to lead us in?
Hold on. Let me pull up his name.
All right.
Okay.
Go for it.
Welcome to Faith Fiction and Folklore, or the Try-F podcast, where we try not to F it up. And Gary, how are you?
I'm swell, man. How are you?
Swell. I think I'll be swell as well.
Sweet.
And today, or tonight, or whatever time it is, we are going to take a look at an ex-Satanist, Riaan. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Riaan Swiegelaar? I'm not sure where he's from.
A for effort, because I don't know either. So.
He's been floating around the internet talking about Halloween and stuff. And
so this is our very, very late Halloween episode, since we didn't do one on Halloween.
Yeah, we didn't do one this year because we didn't really want to.
Yeah.
So we're going to do one late. So This is Riaan and talking about how demonic Halloween really is.
Okay, great.
Riaan Swiegelaar, you are a former leader in the Church of Satan, and you are now
That's how you deal with the name thing. You just say it really fast. Riaan Swiegelaar, how are you? Just plow through that name and hope nobody notices. So.
Sounding the alarm about the demonic realities of Halloween. Can you peel back the curtain for us?
Absolutely. Thank you first and foremost for having me on the show. It's really an honor to be here. I think a good place to start is that so many people have no idea, the significance of Halloween and what it means to celebrate Halloween. And I think it's also largely due to it has become part of popular culture without many people really thinking
about what it represents. And I think what's even more concerning is that there's even Christians who are celebrating Halloween. Now, there's so many things to say here, but I think an important thing to say to start with is that Anton LaVey, who was the original founder of the Church of Satan in the States in the late 60s, he had a very well-known quote where he said, "It makes him so happy to see that Christians are allowing their children to celebrate the devil one night of the year."
Oh, hey, there's an ad. Anyway.
We're adding.
So, as a quick little aside, we did an episode on Anton LaVey and how he went out. That was not...
Yeah.
That wasn't a great way to go. Die astral projecting, apparently.
Yeah.
So, talk about being hoisted on your own petard.
Yeah.
And what we are doing, if we are celebrating Halloween as Christians, you are actually having a one-night stand with the devil. That's a simple way to put that. But everything about Halloween and what it represents, and it's all about death. So first and foremost in that context, but if we take it to the satanic context and why it's such an important day on this.
Calix says, "Oh yeah, that was an interesting story." I thought so. I was like, that's kind of wild, the fact that the guy was astral projecting and causing all sorts of trouble that way.
Yeah. Well, I actually went back and listened to that story.
Oh yeah? Did you learn anything
the other
new?
day. No, I was just trying to figure out more about the chord, the chord that they talked about, and
Right.
I've forgotten it all over again.
They cut the silver cord.
The silver cord, yeah.
Yeah. And he says, "Oh, whatever it was." Yeah, right. It was like, okay. We did later learn that the silver cord is actually mentioned in Ecclesiastes, I believe.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
is that concept is actually in the Bible, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah.
So, anyway, actually, while he's playing, I'm going to look that verse up really quick because we got to
it's
make
King Solomon.
And also the fact that it is the day of the year where there's the most human sacrifice around the planet. And quite often in or during Halloween, All Hallows Eve that evening, is also when people climb the ranks in the occult and in Satanism by practicing and by doing certain things. So we have an atmosphere, a spiritual atmosphere of the celebration of death and the revels of death. And we know that the enemy came to kill, steal, and destroy. And the devil has never changed his modus operandi, as the word teaches us. But we can definitely see that in the last few years, it's like the enemy is roaring more loudly.
Okay, so just sorry, as an aside here. So the Bible verse referring to it's actually, let's see, Ecclesiastes 12:6, and I think I'm just going to read like 6 and 7 here. So, wherever the silver cord be loosened, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. So, yeah. So the concept of the silver cord is actually a scriptural concept, which I found fascinating.
Basically, it says the dust will return to the dust. So your body, you're leaving your body, you're in the astral realm.
Right.
If that cord gets cut, your body then returns to the ground, returns to dust without your soul.
Right. Which is interesting. So, and Calix says, for sure. So,
Faux show.
All right, let's see.
And it is because people have become despondent, people have been desensitized through the media and through various things about the occult and the realities of Satanism and things that's going around in the world globally. Therefore, a very easy way to desensitize children to things like death and demons and gargoyles and you name it, is something like Halloween. And then furthermore, if we think of a neighborhood or an area where there is a few homes that is celebrating Halloween, that whole perimeter becomes a satanic ritual by definition. So it is like a hot spot for demonic activity. And you are opening doors to the dark side of the spirit world when you are doing those things and engaging in those celebrations.
I have so many questions, brother. But I want to touch on something that you just said. You said,
all right, let me push on you a little bit. Look at your opinion on this. So,
yeah,
do you think that it is bad, quote unquote, to celebrate Halloween for all the reasons you described?
Me personally, I'm still trying to figure it out.
I'm skeptical about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, all right, yeah, you shouldn't be messing around with Ouija boards, and you shouldn't be like tempting that stuff. Like that's obviously going to get you into trouble. But I mean, I don't know. That's not. I don't know. I feel like just because a kid dresses up like a mummy and goes and gets candy,
it doesn't mean he's fully worshiping. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's the mummy isn't real. The vampire isn't real. Like this stuff. Yeah, demons are real. There is stuff that exists on the other side, but not in the cartoon caricatures that these people, like the kids, dress in. So, I think if you're like careful in how you frame things, you don't necessarily have to turn it to a gateway drug to Ouija boards.
Right.
So I don't know. That's my opinion. I would like to hear somebody else's take on it if they actually think Halloween is wrong. I'm just not sold that it is. You know.
Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily wrong to celebrate it, but it is wrong if you put it above God.
Okay, so Calyx, yeah, if you put it above God for sure. So Calyx put out an emoji with somebody with their arms crossed. I'm old, Calyx. I don't know what that means. Like I'm an old man. I don't understand I don't understand emojis.
You said, I don't know. I wouldn't say I celebrate it, but I'm not saying it's fake. It is based in truth.
Yeah, like there's the demon. Yeah, it is based in truth from like the supernatural aspect of it's based in truth, and that there are demons and there are like things out there that can hurt you. Yeah, you know, especially if you start messing around with it. But the cartoon caricature stuff, like that's getting not just into demonology, but that's like getting into archetypes.
Yeah.
You know, like the vampire represents kind of a duality between the spirit and flesh, and, you know, the werewolves kind of leaning more into the bestial nature of man and how much control we actually have over those impulses and stuff. Like there's existential questions and archetypes and things that have nothing to do with demonology tied to those monsters. Like they're mythic figures. Yeah. You know, and it's kind of the same thing that Tolkien and Lewis talked about in terms of like how to treat the Greek pantheon and the mythology of the past, because its roots are pagan. Its roots, all that stuff's roots are bad in the sense that it's not true, but that stuff still has an element of truth in it, in that it's archetypal, and that people made that stuff up in their way of kind of trying to stumble towards God, as a manner of speaking. And so if you can find the truth in the myth, as it were, then you can reframe the myth into something constructive. And so the thing in and of itself isn't necessarily bad because it's just a thing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to look into and figure out here lately for myself is what's the truth, and then what do I apply? How do I apply that to my life?
Yeah, the only thing that I could really compare it to is it's like the food sacrificed to idols and kind of the way Paul dealt with the pagan traditions of his time back in the day. Yeah. And it's like a Romans 14 thing, I think. That might be the wrong one, but when he talked about this subject, he would basically say that those things have no power in and of themselves. So, you know, you don't you don't treat it like it's inherently evil, because it's like giving it undue power is kind of the way I understood it. It's like, really, you know, you can eat the food sacrificed to idols without actually believing in the idols.
Yeah.
You know. So, and then Calix says, for sure. So, faux show. All right. We're going to move on here.
The night of the most human sacrifice. What do you mean by that?
So in Satanism, there is blood sacrifices. There is, and you will notice, for instance, that during the month of October, we see the most missing people cases or notices of the most missing people, and especially the vulnerable parts of society, like the homeless and people like that, is definitely a target. And I mean, I'm talking from experience of being involved in Satanism for 5 years as well, and facilitating certain rituals and things where there was sacrifices of especially animals. But I obviously know of what was going on globally around the world during that time. So blood has a currency in the spirit world. So blood is a physical thing, but it has a currency in the spirit world. So if you want to make negotiations or bargains or deals with the demonic, that is why you bring certain blood sacrifices. And the more purer a soul is considered to be, the higher the currency of that blood is. So we can also surely say, or I can definitely say today, coming from a background like that and having encountered Christ just over 3 years ago, the blood of Jesus is the highest currency in the spirit world. That is why it's so powerful and why it covers everything. And obviously, when we are in Christ, we are under that covering, and we have that authority to pray in his name and to pray his blood, whether it is over, you know, our families or over ourselves, whatever, we have that authority. And like I said, the blood of Christ is the highest currency, because all blood does have a currency in the spirit world. And it's interesting when I talk to other people who come out of Satanism or out of the occult, who has firsthand experienced things and also encountered Christ and got out in that way, they will testify to the same thing. So you cannot really compare what happens in the occult in terms of witchcraft and ritual to the power that is Jesus Christ, once you got to know both sides of that equation. But coming back to Halloween, so
I am glad he brought that out, because I do get annoyed about, like, one of the things I hate about exorcism movies is how they always make it like this close contest between good and evil.
Yeah.
But like in reality, it's not. It's not even close. Like
Jesus' blood is the highest form. So
I do want to point out though, like, we got to be careful with this stuff when it comes to like Gnosticism.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing inherently evil. Like, physical matter is amoral. Like, the motives behind why people are doing what they're doing, that's important. You know, like the intent. Like, obviously, if they do a blood sacrifice, it's not the blood that's actually creating the effect. It's the intention and the willingness and the motivation behind the act that's actually producing like the spiritual bargain, if you will.
The faith that you have behind it.
Yeah, and so I do think you have to kind of be careful with conflating a value to the object when that's not really what's going on. Just food for thought.
It is unfortunately, it doesn't stop at, you know, it's as simple as a home gets decorated with skeletons and there's candy that's handed out to children. And people think, you know, it's innocent and dress up in costumes. But the true meaning behind it is to disguise yourself in a certain way to attract certain demons. And to sweeten the situation up for children, that's why there's candy. So people don't really think about the deeper meaning of these things. And I'm also very sad to say that 80% of Christians don't actually have discernment. Because if you have discernment, and if you listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit, you will not partake in these things. You cannot sit at the.
This might be another thing we have to look up later, but I thought discernment was a spiritual gift. Is that right, or is that wrong?
Some say yes, it's a spiritual gift, and then some people say it's a gift for all of us.
See, that's what I'm asking. I'm like, I'm not sure if it's like something given to certain people or if it's for everybody, or like, is there a particular? It might be one of those words that's used interchangeably, where it's like, in some cases, like any guidance of the Holy Spirit is called discernment, and then there's like another special term, like discernment is in discerning spirits or something. It's like unique gift. Like I don't know. It's just I'm just thinking out loud because he said the term. So,
me personally, I think it's just as simple as what's your right and wrong.
What knowing what's right and wrong?
No, what's your right and wrong?
I don't know what my right and wrong is.
That's your discernment.
Okay.
So your right and wrong could be different from my right and wrong. That's your discernment.
Okay, I would just add the qualifier that there is the right and wrong, and
Yeah, exactly. But we also all have our own personal right and wrong. Whereas you and I could agree on pretty much everything, but there's always one thing we're not going to agree on. That's right and wrong.
Okay, I mean I agree.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just add the qualifier that there is one of us is wrong when there's a disagreement. Most of the time anyway. So, right. I mean, I might just be being kind of a nitpicky with that, making that distinction though. So
no, I was just giving my own personal.
No, you're good, man.
Type of definition for discernment.
Okay. Yeah.
It's everyone's personal right and wrong.
See, I want to Google it, but I know if I Google it, it's just going to give me some generic crap that isn't going to answer the question. So I'm like, I don't even want to waste my time with that. But I think we have to do like a deep. That'll require a deep dive.
A deep dive full episode on discernment.
Yeah, just trying to figure out what all the thoughts are on it. So anyway.
Table of God or the kingdom of God and drink from a cup of another table. And God is very clear in his word about certain things. And we have to remember what Christ represents by the works of the cross and the works of the resurrection. And it is about life, and it is about honoring. We should honor God for life, because God is the creator of everything. But the devil, the enemy, corrupts and imitates things. So the enemy cannot actually create anything. The enemy only imitates certain things and then corrupts it. So I always tell people, if you are unsure, pray about it and hear what God tells you about it. And I can guarantee you anything that has to do with celebrating death or partaking in a night of the year, or even the celebrations leading up to that, is definitely not of the kingdom of God. And we have to understand, in the spirit world, which is around us, it's not somewhere up there. The realities of the spirit world is around us. And in the spirit world, there's only two things. There's the kingdom of God, which is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That's that. And everything else that falls outside of that. So there isn't really a gray zone.
This is my favorite dentist.
Hey, look at that!
My retainer. If you wear a retainer every night like I do, you know how hard it is.
Before going on, I do want to point out, I think if we ever have Mr. Buzz back, this would be another question to ask him. I'm just throwing that out there, thinking out loud, because he would probably have some strong opinions on this. So
yeah,
I would think. But
let me ask you this, brother. When you talked about discernment, when I'm walking around our current neighborhood right here, and I see these demons, I mean, I am known as the prude Christian, because man, I am just like repulsed by this stuff. I mean, it like these little dolls from The Ring, and these demons hanging off like a lot of doors. It's not like one crazy person. It's like everywhere here in San Diego. There's people with like heads chopped off, and these just grotesque looking satanic beast. You walk into Lowe's or Home Depot, you look to the left, and there's this, it looks like hell. Like, I'm like, what are we doing here? And so I've become that guy where I'm just like, I can't even walk into Lowe's or Home Depot because I just feel so much, it really just repulses something deep in my spirit. But let me ask you this, my brother, maybe in closing, but what about the people?
What do you think about that?
I think it's silly.
You think he's being a little melodramatic?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting idea. I will say this. I stopped watching slasher movies after a while because of that. Because it's like, on the one hand, some of them seemed to be like, slasher movies are a really interesting topic on this because on the one hand, they're like a very bizarre, perverse version of a morality play. Because the people that always die in those movies are repugnant, and there's like this kind of act of karma element. But at the same time, you are rooting for like a villain.
Yep.
You know? And so after a while, I kind of got to the point where I was like, I can't. Because I used to like them. You know what I mean? I used to like them a lot because I like the intensity and the horror elements. And I've been kind of attracted to like horror books and scary stories, you know?
Yeah.
But when you start rooting for the bad guy, I just kind of... When I realized, well, I guess I should say it this way. As it kind of slowly dawned on me that the protagonist is the movie monster. You know, like with the Halloween series. Like, you know, when you initially watch it, you're kind of hoping, or at least I was. What was that actor's name? He was in A Clockwork Orange. No, that's not right. That's not right. That in the remake, he was the guy from Clockwork Orange. Excuse me, my headphones got out of alignment.
I haven't seen Clockwork Orange.
Oh, yeah, I'm blanking out on his name. But anyway, there's a different actor who was the James Bond villain in the original Halloween, and I'm blanking out on everybody's names. That's so frustrating.
Yes,
I really
it is.
Tired.
I'm
really tired because I'm usually pretty sharp on those names. Michael McDowell, I think, was the guy's name from the remake. But you're kind of wanting the detective figure in the Halloween series to find and beat the bad guy, you know? And I was always a little annoyed at the slasher movies because sometimes I never did. The bad guy always disappeared or something. And it took me a while to kind of figure out, oh, it's because you're supposed to be kind of rooting for the bad guy in a weird way. Like, you're not supposed to be rooting for the detective. Like, he's a bumbling idiot. And once I kind of figured that out, it was like, well, maybe this isn't good to watch.
Yeah.
You know? Not that I have an aversion to blood or violence or intensity. I think the more compelling your villain is, the more compelling your good guys end up being. If they best the guy, you know?
Yeah.
But, so I think you do need scary, intimidating villains. But when I realized, oh, like, the villain's the whole shtick, it kind of changed it for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, am I being like legalistic, or what do you think?
No, that's your discernment on the subject.
Okay, well we'll tie it back into that. So I don't know. I kind of got to the point where like I can't keep watching these.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I still like watching them.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of, like you said, rooting for the bad guy, I just don't root for anybody. I just watch it because it's a good movie. And then I see, okay, this guy's evil. He's doing the wrong thing. It's just a movie.
I mean, yeah, ultimately it is just a movie. That's true. Like, I don't think that stuff by itself is going to end up, you know, getting you into a lot
Coming
of trouble.
through your TV.
Yeah, I'm not
causing
one of those
demons.
Yeah. I'm not one of those guys that thinks you know, if you play a shoot 'em up game, you're gonna turn into Satan or something.
Right.
But
it's certainly going to affect your brain in a way. Because if you overplay that game, then that game becomes your idol, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I think a lot
you
of
start to carry traits around of that game.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's framing. I think a lot of it is how you treat the subject and how you... Like, if you understand that the villain is bad and you're not affirming what the villain is doing, you're probably fine. it's kind of hard for me to imagine how you would do that with like something like Grand Theft Auto, but maybe you could. I've never really played Grand Theft Auto.
You never
like,
played Grand. Don't play Grand Theft Auto. You can walk into the strip club in Grand Theft Auto, and it shows everything.
Well, I had a hard time imagining how you could frame beating the crap out of a prostitute or something into a good thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like you're just playing the bad guy for the sake of it at that point. But maybe that cognizant realization that it's just a game and you're just venting, maybe that's enough. I don't know. I would need somebody smarter than me to talk through it.
Personally, I'm not a fan of Grand Theft Auto, but
I feel like it's dark. I mean,
there's
people
dark.
who would disagree, and I'd be interested to hear what they have to say, but I feel like it is dark.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the slasher movie thing. It's like there's a difference between communicating bad and showing bad things. Because I think you have to show bad things too, particularly in storytelling. I do think you have to show bad stuff. I don't think you can, if you whitewash the bad, then the good doesn't shine through.
Yeah.
That's kind of something that's pretty important to me as far as like the books that I write and stuff go. But yeah, I mean, if you're sitting there affirming it and siding with it, that's like a whole other matter. And that does kind of bring us back to the Halloween decorations. It's like, okay, well, if you're putting all this zombie crap in your yard or whatever, are you affirming it? Or are you just going along with the holiday?
Yeah, it's just like, we have a skeleton hanging by our front door.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only decoration that I have for Halloween, really.
Yeah.
So that's the one that got put up.
Yeah. Interesting moral question.
What's up?
No, I'm just saying it's an interesting moral question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I've never been like absolutely horrified by the Halloween decorations like what this guy's describing, but I've never been like, oh my gosh, this is so bad.
See, that's another thing is certain stores or certain ways. Our Home Depot has like just a scarecrow sitting on some hay bales. Mm-hmm. It's like not scary at all. It's just
Well, again, it's framing for a lot of it, like things like vampires and werewolves and Frankenstein. There's an archetypal significance to those characters. It's not just demonic realm stuff, but when you've got little psycho dolls up and down your yard replacing your gnomes, I do think you probably need to ask, okay, why do you have the dolls? Is it just a holiday and you haven't really thought about it? Like, and maybe in that case, you might want to consider, am I siding with evil kind of unknowingly here? Is that even possible?
Well, I mean, Jesus did say it, my people suffer for lack of knowledge.
Mm-hmm. I do want to... Yeah, I think, though, we also have to balance that with it's not the object. Nothing is like... Physical matter is not inherently evil. It's why you're doing what you're doing, what the thing represents to you, what you're trying to accomplish with, let's say, the decoration in this case.
Yeah.
Are you getting in line with psycho killers or whatever? Or are you just kind of trying to bond with the community? Is it right to bond with the community in that way? I think you have to ask those kinds of questions.
Yeah, and
maybe
how much
them for
faith?
yourself.
How much faith do you have in that object?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just an interesting question, but I agree and I don't agree with the guy. Because there is that danger element. The demons are real, and not taking it seriously can get you into trouble for sure. But. So don't mess with a Ouija board, Dad. Blame it.
Yeah, don't mess with the Ouija board.
All right, so we've got like 1:10 here, but I think we've kind of kicked this horse enough, this dead horse enough.
Oh, that poor horse.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a puddle. So if you want to watch the rest of this, it's like a little over a minute left, but Calix asked,
you guys
know Jerry Marzinski. Is he the guy that wrote that book? Hang on a minute. Before I can answer that question, I might know him, but I need to Google and make sure. So give me like a second.
I do not know who Jerry
Well, I'm
Marzinski
thinking he might
is.
be writing the guy that He might be the guy that wrote that book that Cody and I reference a lot. What's it called? Yeah, Entities of Schizophrenia. Yes, I do know this guy. He wrote... Here we go, yeah. Let me copy and paste the link, because we have referenced this book quite a bit, actually. So, hang on here.
Oh.
Yeah, we've actually referenced this book a lot.
Oh.
Yep. Thought that sounded familiar. All right.
Engineering and Insanity, probably?
Yeah, we know this book. Yeah, I think so. We do know the guy, yeah. And so Calix says Engineering Insanity, and he goes, oh, cool. Yeah, I think it's because we have referenced this book.
A few
An
times.
Amazing Journey into the Psychotic Mind, Breaking the Spell in the Ivory Tower. Yeah, so I've read this book. It's actually a very good book, for sure.
No, I want to read it.
Yeah, I would recommend it. It's good. It's very good. He says, do you guys know Paranoid American? We don't know Paranoid American.
Negative.
That's correct. He has a channel.
Would you say he's paranoid?
I would assume so. We'll check out his channel then. Let's look at that here. Paranoid American.
Paranoid American.
Hang on. Paranoid America. That's not quite right. Yeah, here we go. So.
What's he about?
And Jerry has a channel too. Okay.
Well,
I didn't
everybody's
know
got
that.
channels.
Well, we're ones to talk. So, Marzinski. Oh, come on.
Wow.
Don't be like that, YouTube. I think
Did
I've
it
got
pause
too-
on you?
I think I've got too many tabs up. Hang on. Let me try that again.
Yeah, I've got some tabs up too.
I've got like 30 of them or something. Stupid.
I can help you out a little bit. I'll close some of mine.
Let's see. Yeah, here we go. We've got Jerry Marzinski on John Cooper's show. Engineering Mental Sanity, and Jerry Marzinski. Okay. Yeah, excellent.
Wow.
So there it is. Cool. I didn't realize he had a channel. That's awesome. Cool. We'll have to give that a look.
Listen to some of his stuff.
Mace Energy Method. Okay, we'll have to look into that for sure. Is that something Marzinski talks about? Oh, he's got Owen Benjamin on here.
Oh,
Cody ought to find that very interesting. So
wow.
Wow. Yeah, dude, thanks for pointing that out. I didn't realize he had a channel. I'd seen some interviews with him, but I didn't know he had his own channel. That's awesome. His latest show is good. Good stuff, guys. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And Calix, thank you very much for participating with us tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Going back and forth with us. We really appreciate it. So I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight, actually. So
Wrap it up.
yeah. So Trevor, you got any
Yeah.
final thoughts, sir?
Ouch thoughts.
Ouch.
Ouch thoughts. Yeah.
Ouch thoughts. Oh, okay. You're calling yourself stupid. All right, I got it. I'm a little slow. You got to bear with me, man. Okay. Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Calix, thanks again. And guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.